Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Samurai Schultz, and welcome to what the heck do I even call this? Data flow, I guess? Well, basically, when I first started doing Stephen's gas course, I had a really hard time understanding how all of the classes that I was creating were talking to each other and sending data. And through making a graph of it all, basically, every single class in the game it contributes towards a very few blueprints, and all of these blueprints are, uh, all of them are T object pointers in this game mode. So when we open up, well, I don't really need to open it up. I guess I could if I wanted to, but when you create a game mode blueprint, everything in your class is eventually going to flow into this. And ultimately, if we wanted to, we could show that this actually flows into something further. This is going to be, what would this be? What would we call this? No, what would we call this? Pretty much, this is just the level. And I'm gonna make this orange, because that's how levels are in here. This would be like hot in sandbox. It's whatever it would be, right? Yeah. So, in figuring out this data flow, I was able to understand the course so much better. And honestly, I wish that Stephen would show something like this in his courses to provide an additional visual. Oh man, that's good. That's good water. One thing he does talk about though is how when when you have data that you need to send to a heads-up display, there's basically three elements. There's the data model, which is things like player state, attribute set, ability system component, and these other classes. You know, just they're not gonna have their own objects per se. Well, player state does, but they're not necessarily going to have them. Is the point? But they all provide data that can be sent. Oh, but you only choose a couple classes to actually send the data. We send this over to HATENDR widget controller, and I'm gonna say referenced in. Oops. Because in HATENDR widget controller we make some references. Referenced in. Right. So far we have. Just ignore that for now. We have the model. We have widget controllers right here. So we have HATENDR widget controller, which actually gets the data, and then overlay widget controller inherits from that. And if we take a look in here, where is overlay widget controller? Yeah, so in here, this is sending, it's taking attribute, it's taking attributes from our attribute set and it's broadcasting them. Or it's sending change delegates essentially. Like you can see right here. And what else are we doing here? We're broadcasting message widget row, which is going to be for heads up for like little pop-ups when you pick up an item. Optionally, I don't think I'll actually have that. We broadcast initial values, but yeah, it essentially uh, it references parts of our model. So I'll bring that back up. Yeah, so this references parts of our model, and then it sends them to the HUD. So the HUD it's the class that contains all of the widgets and displays them to the viewport. But this over here, this is our actual widget. This isn't really contained in the data flow that Stephen explains. But anyways, we have model, which the widget controller references, which is referenced by the HUD right here. Now that we're creating an inventory plugin, I am trying to figure out how I can use widget controllers to reference this, because this is now part of the model, because the inventory, let's take a look here. I'm actually trying to use this. How would I do this? I'm gonna make, no, that's not what I want. I just got this new program today and I'm trying to use it for the first time. So let's take a look here though. This is gonna be called data flow, just like our Milanote document. And up here, change this. Okay, so we have it called data flow. Cool. Now we want to create another. Let's see here. I want to create heading 1. Sure, we'll do this. This is going to be game mode, and here it's just going to be BP underscore HATEND game mode. BP underscore HATEND game mode. And actually, I'm just going to put this as the title. Heading 6 would be really small, wouldn't it? Huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's delete that there. Okay, so we have HATEND game mode. And we basically, somewhere along here, we're going to have our HATEND widget controller. And just like how, and here we made an overlay widget controller that's based on HATEND widget controller. We are going to make a different type of widget controller, and then maybe it'll be called inventory widget controller, something like that. Yeah. So in HATEND widget controller, we'll have that, and then I'd like to drag one out. Thank you. Okay. So I'm just gonna call this, man, holy crap, this tool is really finicky. Come on. We have Chanaries, which is the name of our plugin. And actually, we're just gonna get like a box frame. What the heck am I even doing? What am I do? I don't know what I'm doing. Holy moly. Okay. Anyways, we have chanaries, and we have things related to that. So let's take a look. What do we have? We have the player controller currently, and I just decided to be done with that guy's course that I was complaining about yesterday, and I just went to Stevens because he's just got better practices. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to then I'll look at Saragon's course again and implement some crafting because Steven does not do that. So I'll try to take what I've learned from Steven and bring it into that. Um, okay, so in here we're creating a widget here, and that should not be the case because outside of the plugin, we should be adding. Actually, we're not adding anything to viewport there. That should be in HATEND. Yeah, so in here, right, okay, so we're taking the widget and adding it to viewport. And this widget is of that type, okay. Right, yeah, so in HUD, we'll be adding it to viewport. And, kind of tricky because we're having some problems with inheritance. I was working on input yesterday, and I'll actually load this up so you guys can see. Whoops. Just trying to look at the weather here. 64 degrees. Okay. Yeah, we're having some weird issues with our controller. So basically, we have our HATEND player controller, which is it's native to our game. It's the one that the player is going to be using. But since we have the Chanaries plugin, we want our player controller to inherit, or sorry, we want our HATEND player controller to inherit from the Chanaries player controller. And if we open up our Chanaries player controller, we have an array of input mapping contexts that we want our HATEND player controller to inherit, and we have a primary interact action that we want to inherit. So you think, oh, I'll just go to Chanaries controller and then I'll set these and then they'll inherit, right? Well, actually, I could set these to none. I could just have my input mapping context set to none. I'll just go ahead and delete that because this is an array. You can delete elements in an array. And then I'll go here, and if I scroll down to the Chanaries section, because if we go to, where's our player controller? Yeah, because if we go down to here, actually, hold up. Yeah, so in Chanaries player controller, this category is called Chanaries. So if we go down to the Chanaries category, as long as these are set, then we can use this action So it doesn't need to be set on here. And I'm not really sure where I want those to be set. But either way, I either want it to be blank here and then just have it set on my HATEND player controller, or I want it set here and then this will just inherit, and which means that these wouldn't be exposed to Blueprint. But yeah, it's just unnecessary right now to have both of them. So I think what I'm gonna do actually is I'm going to remove the U property, and I'm gonna remove the U property from this, and I think we should be okay. Yeah, so if I compile, okay, so compiled successfully, and huh? You know, we'll actually have to reload the editor, I think. So I'm gonna make sure there's nothing to save. Okay, I'm just gonna stop it. Doesn't matter that it's not fully saved because it's relating to something we don't want anyway. Gonna compile here. Succeeded. Okay, now we're going to press play here. Okay. Now, if you look on the Channery's controller, it should not be here. Yeah, normally it would be right at the top, and it is not, which is fine. But unfortunately, that means our HATEND player controller no longer inherits. Shoot. Okay. Okay. I've got to figure out a better way to do this then. So we have these two U properties. You know, it's fine how it is now. We can change it later. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna reload that. And yeah, we'll go to Channery's player controller and we will set these. But yeah. One thing I don't like is that we have our HUD on here, and I do not like that. Okay, now if we scroll down here, okay, these don't need to be set, but they can be. Okay, anyways, looks like everything's fine. If I press play here, then when I press E, there should be a little log displayed at the bottom. You can see the log going up, 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 up. All it's doing is just giving me a debug message, which is fine. Nothing to worry about. But yeah, we need to figure out our HUD situation here. And we'll just have to kind of do it the same way, I suppose, even if it's not perfect. But if we look at HATEND player controller, it's not doing, I don't think it's doing anything with HUD, is it? It's not doing anything with our HUD. And so instead of our Channery's player controller creating that HUD, I want what do I want? I want to have the same kind of data flow as this here, I guess. So we, yeah. What is it that we have right now? We have a HUD widget class, and we have a HUD widget. And that would be similar to how on, is that similar to anything? Nah, never mind. Overlay widget controller class. Well, I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna, oh, whoops. I don't want to look at Saragon's course right now. Okay. Hmm. I need to stop being so low in my chair. Okay. So yeah, to be honest, I really don't want, yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this without the HATEND player controller referencing our plugin at all, because that's the last thing that we want. This should not be a thing at all. Because the whole point of a plugin is you do all of the work in editor. It's just clicking drop downs and adding things and changing some values, and that's pretty much it. I don't want to have to go into my future projects and change code in the IDE. That is no good. Hmm. So I'm thinking I might see that's HATEND HUD. What if I make widgets? I should have renamed this UI. I'm gonna rename this right here. I'm gonna rename this widgets. Okay, this is gonna be UI. Okay. Well, I'll have to rename it here. I just don't like widgets. It's just a little too specific. Okay, let's compile. And there's probably going to be some errors here. Nope. Okay, it's fine. Nice. Okay, and then under HUD, we're going to rename this. So instead of HUD widget, I'm just going to call this user widget. Yeah. So that's going to break some stuff, but that's okay. So let's just compile, make sure all that works. This is definitely going to have some errors, I'm sure. Okay. I mean, all right. Okay, we're going to add an Unreal class here. It's going to be we're going to call this Chanaries underscore HUD. Just like we had a HUD class for HATEND, you can see that on the top right. This is going to be Chanaries underscore HUD. And this is going to be based on HUD. So let's look for HUD here. A HUD. Nice. Base folder. It's going to be public. Right. We can make the header file in private, huh? Cute. But yeah, I'm good. So we're going to create that. And we're going to add that to Git, of course. And then here, and this is going to be tricky. We'll have to create another widget controller as well. And what's our widget controller based on? I'm not sure, but I'm going to I just realized something. Okay. I'm gonna close other tabs. We'll get this open. If I actually, I'm gonna close that real quick. What I've been doing so far is open game structure, player. Let's open a character. Why not? So here, for example, and I'll open up my player character here. Not my player character. This. Here we go. Okay, so what I've been doing to make this plugin work so far is I have been making this C++ class inherit from this C++ class. That is very stupid because that means it's manually in my code, right? Next project, I'm going to have to do the exact same thing, and I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. Instead, I want to be able to, let's use character as an example. I want to be able to go to class settings and just inherit from, well, that won't work, will it? Because what I was thinking is, I'll just sketch in Milano, it's a bit easier. What I was thinking is you'd have, you have your Channery character. Forgive my misspelling. Oops. Again. Okay, there we go. So we have our Channery character. And then from here, we're creating a blueprint based on that, right? So we have Control C, Control V, no thanks. We have the BP, BP underscore. I'm actually going to do the right naming convention. So we have Channeries underscore character. It's inheriting from that. Wait a second. Okay. feel like an interface would make this easier. I'm not sure though. Okay. Essentially what we want is, what do we even want? Oh, and this should be player character. We have, so we have our plugin character, which has stuff on it. It's got stuff. And we have our HATEND player character. Sorry for the lack of spaces, that's just the convention. Let's see what we got. And then we have another note. This is BP underscore HATEND player character. What I was doing before was I was having this be the parent of this. That's bad. It's not good. Because that means we have to do it in C++. What I would be okay with is this, or I'm also okay with, I'm not really though, am I? See, I want it to inherit from both, so I feel like I need to use an interface. This is so, oh my gosh, this is the worst. Or, okay, or we could have this and this, except that also still wouldn't work because yeah, that wouldn't work because then this would need to inherit from two different classes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it is raining out there. Heavy rain. Heavily raining. Okay. Man, this is tricky. This is like one of the first streams where I've had to like like unintentionally be boring. Like, I mean, there's times where I'm just watching the lecture and I don't really have a choice. Like I'm just choosing to do that, but like with this, in order to go forward, I need to figure this one out. So I think I just need an interface. Or yeah, I think I need an interface. I ain't even finna lie. I ain't even finna. So recently created right, our HUD. Of course, of course. Of course. Okay, well for now I'm at least going to have it set up similarly to this. So I'm gonna do alto. Okay, so this is referencing our widget controller. And it's referencing a widget as well. Oh, right, yeah, because that's above it in the hierarchy, technically. Okay, so we have a public section for some widgets. Actually, Our overlay widget should be the final widget anyway. Man, this is so confusing. Ah, this is gonna be a nightmare. I think as long as everything has a blueprint, we'll be okay. So I hope the rain isn't too loud. It was pretty freaking loud on my end. I turn it up, and it's pretty loud. Okay, I'll leave it there. Okay, so we need a widget controller. U overlay widget controller is based on U HATEND widget controller. U HATEND widget controller is based on U object. Yeah, fair enough. So we just need a U object. So we still need to figure out the inheritance though to actually. Oh. I don't want to create the class unless I know I'm going to need it. Okay. I'm gonna break out Copilot here, and we're gonna figure out. Actually, I can use my shortcut if I want. I'm just gonna do this. How to create an interface between two C++ classes. Maybe 5. I should know how to do this. Why am I looking this up? I can do this. I can do this. Guys. I'm Nice 2 files. Wait, we created an interface in here. Where do we put that? I want to keep my file structure hunky-dory. Interaction. Okay. We need, well, we're actually going to create a folder called inheritance. So, oh my gosh, I keep thinking I want to move stuff. Okay, under source, public, we're going to add an Unreal class, and I'm going to call it Chanaries underscore, well, first of all, wait, yeah, that's fine. I was thinking, no, I have to make the folder first. Chanaries underscore, inheritance. Okay, so under public, under inheritance, we need to make a plugin interface. And it's going to be, I'll type interface, and I'm going to make it public. Okay. We will add that as well. Okay. So, I'm going to open up Copilot again, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right. I'm just going to open this up here. Okay. So we declared the interface. Oh, we actually didn't declare it. We can do that here, though. Okay, so I'm going to move that off to the side so I can see what I'm doing here. So I have a unit interface, and then we have the class. Okay. Okay, and this can work. I think this can work. I'm actually gonna. I still don't understand interfaces that well. Like, I still don't understand how the communication works between classes. How can I make a blueprint inherit from two C++ classes that both inherit from, excuse me, that both inherit, actually it doesn't matter. I'll just say it anyway. This is probably going to be really complicated. Right. Share functionality. I don't even know how I would do this. Man, this is tricky. Honestly, I think I'm trying to even remember what was the problem I was having. Oh, what? Yeah, the whole reason that I'm having this tussle is because, let's see, where was it? I'm gonna close all tabs. Yeah, because if we go to our plugin here, yeah, we were opening the HUD from our player controller, and I didn't think that was a good idea. I thought it would be better to use a widget controller, or to have a HUD and then a widget controller. But then we have this problem of inheritance that we have, like here, for example. Because normally how I was making it work was, yeah, and player character, not that one actually. Yeah, we were making our project's character base inherit from our plugins base. We don't want this to reference our plugin within the C++ code. It should only do that within blueprints, because it's not scalable to have to manually type out stuff like this. But I just don't know how else to do it. I don't know how else to. It's got to be an interface. We just have to figure out the interface. So, composition over inheritance. Compose your blueprint base class by adding components or helper objects that encapsulate the desired functionality. No, I'm not going to componentize it. Refactor. So one inherits from the other, or both inherit from. No. So I can't refactor it to inherit one from the other. Yeah, that's just not gonna work. Yeah, neither of those in there. Blueprint function libraries, no. I think it's got to be an interface. So That still means I have to implement the interface. Okay. I'm gonna see how much Copilot can handle here. Let's see. If I'm creating, actually, in my inventory plugin, if I want uh if I want each, hold on. I can't even phrase it here, man. Let's see, in my UE5 projects, I want to, I know this seems cheap, like using AI. I feel like that seems cheap in most people's eyes. I have wasted so much time trying to figure out how to implement systems by myself in Logic. And I think in this context, it helps me human better. Because where the humaning happens really is the actual functionality. I'm just trying to figure out how to connect that functionality in a way that doesn't break my game. That's why I feel like it's justified. I have a cold blanket that I'm going to wear. It's a little too warm. Oh, that's nice. It's really smooth, too. Really nice and smooth. Okay. So in my UA5 project, if I have a blueprint, is it right? It's a blueprint, isn't it? Yeah. If I have a blueprint that I want to inherit from two C++ classes, is that really what I wanted to say? I thought I already asked that later. I asked that down here. How do I use an interface? A blueprint that I want to inherit. How do I use an interface to make it? For example, I have a, we'll use player controller, I guess. I have an inventory player controller for the plugin. Hold up. One of which is part of a plugin. It's important to specify that so it knows not to have backwards dependencies. and a project player controller for the project. One second, I gotta check text. Define a shared interface. Yeah, and then in the editor, we can add an interface here, I think. Right? How would we even add? I don't see a spot for interfaces. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna go back here. Okay, so I'm gonna move this off to the side. Define a shared interface. Right. Okay, we just did that, did we not? Right, yeah. So here have view interface, minimal API. What's minimal API? I'll look it up in a second. Blueprintable. Yes, of course, we want it to be blueprintable. Causes only the classes type information to be Huh. Exposes this interface as an acceptable base class for creating blueprints. Default is. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. Okay, we have. Right now, this is plugin interface, and we'll need our project player character to inherit from the plugin player character. We'll need our project widget controller to inherit from the plugin widget controller. So there's going to be a lot of inheritance that's going on, and I'm going to put it all in here for now, but if it gets too big, I will move it to different interfaces. So we've got this different native events. Okay, we have public function. I don't want it to be a blueprint native event. Oh, gosh, this is difficult. My brain is so huge right now. Okay, this blanket is just making me warm now. Yeah, it's just warm. Oh, this is painful. This is really painful. Yeah. Man, I am I am not doing much right now. Holy crap. What do I even do? What do I even do? I'm just gonna open up the tutorial and keep going here. I can't though, I can't. I literally cannot. It won't work. It will not work. Actually it will. Wait. Did I just waste all that time for nothing? It's not optimal, but I can still just create the HUD widget from the player controller for now, and then create a widget controller later. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Okay, I just realized. In Yeah. I think I was talking earlier about how I'm not sure if I want to change uh the input mapping context and the input action from the plugin controller, the Channery controller, or the project controller, which is HATEND controller. And the blueprint that is. These are the blueprints. So if I scroll down, and I've just realized that I want to change everything from the plugin. I think it should be all on the plugins. Should it though? Should it really? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going with this. Halfway through. Woo! Let's keep going. Oh yeah, but if we press play, then we have that widget right on the middle of the screen. Which is good. Because that's exactly what we want. But we had to set it from here, so we set this to WBP underscore Channery's widget, which is right. Where's that widget? Right in here. Yes. Actually, we're gonna create a new folder called UI. I'm gonna put widgets in there, and then we'll have widget controller. Yeah, we already did this lecture. Yeah, so we have the HUD. Now we need to make some interacting functionality. Yeah, we're gonna make it so that when we are looking at when we're looking at a certain object with a certain collision channel, we are able to pick it up. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna go to our project settings. I'm gonna go down to engine collision. And so here's all the presets that come with the engine. It's kind of cool. Item trace. Honestly, I am not sure what the difference between ignore, overlap, and block are. Wait, right? Yeah, those are the different ones. What is the difference? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up here. Difference between ignore, overlap, and block trace channels. And you could argue that I shouldn't be using AI because it uses water or whatever. I'm not going to be able to learn it as well if I just look it up versus doing this. No hit result. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Used for triggers or soft zones. Used for decorative meshes or invisible helpers. I don't understand that exactly. Used for solid objects like walls or enemies. Right, yeah, okay. Triggers or soft zones, yep. I don't understand why we wouldn't use overlap. What is even the purpose of ignore? Use for decorative meshes or invisible helpers. Explain more how ignore is useful. Oh, I see. Okay. Wait, hold up. New collision profile? Okay. Item is hit by the player controller's race. Oh. Okay. Right. So for items that we want to get hit with the interact thing, we're gonna give them that profile called item. And then when we actually do the tracing, we'll use item trace as our collision channel. Because this collision profile, it blocks everything except for this item trace. Okay. Okay. Just gonna call it potion, I guess. Sure, we'll add a static mesh. Just use this, I guess. Actually, I want it to be different. Box. No, that won't work. The control rig. Huh. No. Yeah, let's use this. Okay. So move this up. And... Oh, actually, no, I'm going to move it the other way. I'm going to move it up like so. Nice. Okay. Okay, so we're going to change this to item. I think that's the move here. Remember, it ignores everything, but it blocks that item trace. Yeah. Yeah. So when it detects this item, it's just going to stop there. It's going to return a hit result, and then from that we'll be like, oh, what item got hit? Oh, it's going to be whatever this is. So now we're actually going to start tracing. Okay. Control Shift A, add symbol. What? I meant to save because I'm gonna go use the restroom. So I will be right back. And we're back. Okay. What the heck were we even doing? Right. Right, okay. Where is he? Okay, so he's making... He's making a function called trace for item. It's not going to return anything, I don't think. He's tracing from the center of the screen. We can change how we want this line trace to work later. For now, I'm just going to do it how he says. G engine, okay. Oh, game viewports. Viewport size. Viewport size. Effective G, viewport size. Why doesn't this work? Okay. I see, I see. Okay. I'm sorry. How did I even do that? Shift, enter. Oh. It opens them up in side by side. Okay, that's kind of cool. Hey, what if I do shift, enter, and I scroll up in one? Huh, cool. Okay, well, that's good to know. Anyways, I'm just gonna move this right there. If is valid. Oh, I did not mean to do that. What's... Yeah, there we go. It's literally like right below the key I was trying to press. Okay. Game viewports. I imagine most of this logic will be the same, so once I figure out the inheritance, I will just copy it over, I think. Maybe change some includes. Oh, okay, we don't need this then. Const. Or multiply it by half. Gameplay settings. What are we even doing here? Okay. Drawing a line from screen center to straight outwards. Yeah, screen position. Center. Viewport center. What else do we need to pass on? Let's see if I can figure this out. So we have a player controller to reference, which is this player controller. We need a screen position, so we have viewport center. We need a world position. So I'm gonna do get world, get I don't even know how would I do that. F vector world direction. The world position and world direction. Okay. Okay. So we're getting the viewport size. Okay. That's that. Now we're going to create a couple sections for these other parameters. F vector. Restart. Okay, we just need to set these because they're currently set to 0, 0, 0. Okay. And this is just really weird. Like, my chair is so creaky. Ugh. Oh. Wait, where does it say? Wait, where does it say it returns a boolean? Wait, hold up. Static bool. Oh, I see. That's what it returns right there. Okay. Yeah, so this is a peek at the definition. So it takes in a player controller, const player. Okay, so basically, this whole thing right here, if this returns a false, then we're just going to return Oh my gosh. Wait, hold up. Forward? Not sure. We're gonna add forward. This is a rotation. Or direction. I don't think that's quite right. Should be able to move this around. Should I? I was able to do that last time. Okay, whatever. We are gonna add the forward. Okay. We need to scale it though. Okay. Get safe. Member variable for the trace length. Okay. My goodness. Okay. HUD. Inputs. I think I'm actually going to move this somewhere else. Okay. I think down here. And then we're going to make a U property. Trace length. Whoops, did that thing again. It's going to be a float, so trace length. I think that should be right. Oh, we made it a double. Okay. We're going to multiply this by trace length. Making a constructor for some reason. Okay. Okay. That's actually for floats. This is a double though. Where's trace right? I'm trace length. Okay. We actually need to put parentheses around this because I'm pretty sure C++ doesn't follow the order of operations. I'm pretty sure it just reads left to right. But we want this to be multiplied by forward before we add it to trace start. Okay, so we have NF hit results. Then we're going to get world, line trace by I don't know if that's right. By channel. Okay. Okay, now we're creating a trace channel. Okay. New collision channel. New collision channel. Okay. Okay, so this is like a data wrapper, I guess. What does this even do? Type safe ways. Okay. Wowza. Okay, I'm gonna move this line because this is where we're actually doing that trace end. We have item trace channel. Perfect. Not quite, but there we go. Man, I'm so tired, so sleepy. Viewport center. Says we can move this to here. Okay, so hit is right there. Trace start is right there. Trace end is right here. Trace end is equal to trace start plus forward. Now we have item trace channel. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So you just did a bunch of explaining, I guess. T weak object pointer, which is going to be for, oh, not that. It's going to be for item actor, or this actor, rather. I'm sorry, guys. This is really boring. This is kind of boring, low key. So we have this actor, and then we have another one, like the exact same. TB object pointer. It's gonna be of type a previous actor. I'm gonna, yeah. He calls them this actor and last actor, but I don't really like that naming style. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. So last actor equals this actor. So we're setting, oh, not last actor, it's gonna be previous actor equals current actor. And then we have current actor equals hit dot get actor. So that way we're constantly storing the last current actor and previous actor. Okay. If this actor, oops. No. Current actor. Man, hold up. If current actor. Oh, whoops. Warning, we're gonna call this started tracing a new actor. Stop tracing, that's gonna be the last actor actually. Oh man, I am so tired. Ugh. I don't know why. It's not very sunny out. It's raining. It's raining. Gosh, I can barely speak. I am so tired. Ugh. 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 Okay, virtual void tick override. So overriding that. Actually, I'm gonna go back, give that a space, and we'll revert again. There we go. Yeah, so we're doing this trace every single frame. Okay. I'm gonna stop. And I'm gonna press debug mode. Okay, we have about like 2 minutes left of this lecture. Not even. It's gonna be testing and then some yapping, and then that's where I'm gonna be done because next lecture is 15 minutes. Oh, failed. Interface, plugin interface. Okay. Let's see if it compiles now. Okay. Now let's debug. Guess it open. Yay. Okay, so where's the item trace channel? We need to set that. Why don't I see the item trace? Where's the item trace? Oh, it's right there. Okay. Oh, I haven't even brought the item in yet. I'm gonna bring this in right here. I'm gonna put it a little bit closer to the player, actually. So press play. Wait, hold up. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, we got this right here. Wait, hold up. You guys can't see it because my stupid face is blocking it. But if you look up here, or, yeah. So we got our debug message, so it is working. Okay. I'm gonna delete that, actually. We can redock it if we want, like that. Okay. Okay, he's just yapping. Okay, so we are done. All we have to do now is make it so that we can actually pick up that item. And so I'm going to save everything. All we have to do now is make sure that we can pick up that item and display a message like that, and then we'll have that part complete. And after that, we're going to start doing inventory, I think. What's next? Oh yeah, and we're going to highlight it. Yeah, so then we're going to work on the inventory HUD, which is going to be cool. So, but yeah, that's about it. So, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. I will be streaming next tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll probably be working on this again. I know I haven't done the drawing or Blender, but this is really important right now, and I'm just trying to go full steam ahead and really scout out and make sure this is a worthwhile endeavor. So I'm putting a bunch of time into it and a bunch of thought into it to make sure. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I want to make sure I don't spend more time than is necessary. So I want to be immersed in it and really think about how it relates to my project. But yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Farewell.